Hey vlog, we made it to Maui. We're at our hotel. So I forgot to do my introduction. If you are new here, I am Marina. I'm a Mainline Seattle-based flight attendant. We landed at 3 p.m. I worked lead, so I was the A position. I was up front in the forward galley, and I took care of first class and all the announcements. And my boyfriend did non-rev with us, and it was successful. There was plenty of seats open. There's also plenty of seats going back. It was windy, so upon landing, it was like crazy bumpy, but it was really good landing. But yeah, the flight was good. It was only bumpy towards the end, and maybe like leaving Seattle like an hour into the flight. No issues, like no medical emergencies. I picked this up on my days off, so that's what we want. The whole crew has been so nice. I've been telling everyone that we're here for my boyfriend's birthday, which is tomorrow. Yay! I'm excited. Kind of change of plans. Like we were gonna plan to eat later after the sunset, but now we're gonna eat before because we're pretty much ready to go. It's gonna be early dinner, but we're totally fine with that. I already changed out of my uniform. It is so hot. It's 84. Yeah, so it's pretty warm, but there's like a slight breeze. It was more breezy where we were, like towards like the airport where we're at right now. It's not as windy, but there's still a little bit of wind, so it feels pretty good. And then right before we came up, one of the crew members, she showed us the crew room, which I didn't know about. I don't know if it's new, I have no idea, because I've been here one other time and I did vlog that, so I can leave that linked. But the last time I was here, I didn't know about it, if it was a thing. She made it sound like it was kind of new. So there's like a whole room to grab from: beach towels, bags, candy, coolers, umbrella and a sunscreen, towel clips. But yeah, there's a bunch of stuff that we can go in and grab, which I'll show you guys later, or maybe tomorrow. When I think we might go in there tomorrow and grab some stuff because we have a longer day. But we ended up actually over 28-hour layover. Originally we were like under 28, we were around like 27 and a half or something like that. I don't know. We landed really early. We were actually scheduled to land at 4 and we landed at 3:09. We made really good time. So pretty much I've told him nothing. I've told him none of our plans on this trip, on this layover.
You already have things planned?
A little bit. I don't have like a big old extravaganza plan, but I have like a really low-key layover planned. Are you ready to go? Because I'm ready. Yay! For the sake of this vlog, I know I'm doing a lot of talking. Well, I sometimes talk a lot in my vlog, sometimes I don't. But I feel like I want to make this trip more of like a travel diary. I'm trying to keep the talking to a minimum, but I will update you guys throughout the vlog if I can, but I'll try to make it quick. I don't know. I'm just trying to be in the moment, enjoy our time, but yet vlog our memories. Look at us, we're all matchy-matchy. I like it. I put my little flower clip back in because I think it's so cute. Okay, let's go. Who is that? What the heck is it? Hey y'all, here I am at home. It is much later in the day. I'm so sorry I have not updated sooner, but right now it is 5:30 p.m. I'm going to be honest with you guys and share with you, you know, the struggles of standby travel. This is a first for my boyfriend and I, and we've been lucky for an entire year flying with him coming along with me on my trips, and then overall just standby travel on like my off days and such. I don't want to glamorize this job too much. I know it could set like a false expectation, and I do want to be honest with y'all and what it's really like. So leaving Maui, long story short, I had to leave my boyfriend behind. If you're newer to standby travel, it's good to kind of get an idea of how it is. Let's talk about how my boyfriend got left in Maui. So when it was time to leave, we came to the shuttle. Right when we were like kind of like pulling up to the airport, one of the pilots looks over at me and says, "Hey, like, this is what I'm hearing, just letting you know, but we're not 100% sure like if your boyfriend's gonna make it on this flight." And I was kind of confused because he didn't provide much context at that time until I was further asking more. They're kind of still crunching numbers. They're trying to figure out, this specific plane was weight restricted. So if you're into aviation and all the planes and stuff, for those that are curious, most of the time the flights going in and out of Maui are the Boeing like 800, 900 max. And I double checked a lot of the flights that have been scheduled and have flown out of there and then are scheduled to fly out of there are all the maxes. We were blessed with a 900. In this case, this is not a max, okay? And the performance of this plane specifically needs to be at a lower weight because the runway is shorter in Maui, and so in order to take off, this plane is weight restricted specifically in Maui. So if we were to like take off anywhere else in this plane, it probably wouldn't be an issue because if the runway is longer. In order for this plane to perform and actually take off, you know, we do get warnings about sometimes flights in and out of some of the islands in Hawaii that they could leave with open seats, and we know this when booking, and I've left certain islands like, and it's been totally fine, you know, fingers crossed. We get to the gate agents, I'm not gonna go into too much on what actually happened because it was just, I don't know, things were handled very unprofessionally, but the gate agents are saying like no non-revs are getting on this flight. I get it, like obviously I want to take off out of Maui, but it was unfortunate that I had to leave my boyfriend behind, of course. We ended up leaving Maui with like 35 total open seats. The reason I feel so a little like iffy on the whole situation is I can't really speak on that because I don't necessarily have like factual things to go off of. I can just go off of like what the experience was and what I was seeing on my end, what I was told, and all that stuff. So my crew felt so bad. They started helping me immediately. Even the pilots were like figuring out like what flight my boyfriend can take out of there. The next flight was in like 3 hours from ours. We departed like at 8:30 p.m. The next flight departing that we operate, and it was like the last flight out, but that one was going to PDX, so that's the Portland, Oregon airport. This is perfect. We're gonna do that. This is a great idea. As long as we can get him back to the mainland, like we're gonna take it, right? Because this is the reality of standby travel. It's like the bus of the sky, and sometimes if you can't really get a direct to your final destinations, you will have to hop from flight to flight to flight, even if it's kind of out of your way, but you just try your best because you're just given what's available and you have to make it work somehow, and you know, and so that's what we're doing. So I put him on to that next flight. I take off on my flight. I think we've been in the air for like 3 hours at that point. Was tracking my boyfriend's flight from my phone. I put in the code, everything, make sure it took off. His plane does take off, and I think he's about an hour in, and I'm like, you know what, okay, like I think he's safe. I put my phone away, whatever, and I'm working. And then the next thing you know, my watch gets a text, and I see that it's from my boyfriend, and he says that his flight is now getting diverted to Honolulu because there was a medical emergency. I think it did have to do with something respiratory, and it was a younger like toddler of some sort, so it was a very serious situation. I do believe they're okay. I don't know too much about the situation. I'm not trying to be heartless about it at all, but they did land. I was under the assumption like the plane wasn't flying very long. Deplaned passenger and the passenger's family off, and then I was talking with the other flight attendants. We were all thinking, oh, maybe they'll like refuel and then take off again, because I mean it wasn't really a long duty day at all. But that was not the case, unfortunately. So the whole crew stayed in Honolulu. All the passengers on that flight that had booked it, they had food and hotel vouchers. Unfortunately, even though this is an unplanned, you know, emergency, this is a diversion that nobody had plans for, nobody wanted, of course. Standby travelers unfortunately don't get this benefit or this coverage when it comes to company is going to take fault for, so they'll cover like your stay and your pretty much your layover. So my boyfriend and a few other non-revs unfortunately were stuck at the airport until the next flight. So the whole flight got rebooked. My boyfriend actually is not going on that flight anymore. He's actually on a different one as we speak, which I'll explain. It didn't make sense for him to fly to Portland anymore. Originally he's gonna do Maui to Portland and Portland to Seattle, because that's a really short flight. In this case, we're gonna try for a direct to Seattle. But those were not looking good at all. Very, very full. I think after all these canceled flights and everything moving around, things became fuller and fuller and fuller. So our next best option, in which he's on currently, he is doing a Honolulu to Plainfield direct flight. When all the non-revs and my boyfriend had like no hotel and nowhere to sleep, basically they were gonna sleep in the airport. They had to get kicked out of the main part of it and outside of TSA, and that was like at 1:30 a.m. By the time they could get back through TSA, they had to wait till like 5 a.m. to get back in. So eventually he did make it back in, and he's just been waiting for that 2:30 p.m. flight back here at home. So he made it on. Great news. I just got the text that he's on there. I'm tracking his flight right now. So it says they're taxiing. They have left the gate, and it's about a 5.5 hour flight. So they should be landing here in the Seattle area around 11:15 p.m. So it's pretty late. So this 5.5 hour initial like flight to get home turned into like a 25-hour travel day layover extravaganza for my boyfriend, which he's been a good sport about it, and he knows, like, I think this is very important if you're going to be a flight attendant or a pilot or just working for, you know, aviation. If you get these travel benefits, this is really great to know, because you will have to inform anyone that you know travel with that you gave your non-rev benefits to. If you give like buddy passes, like this is essentially really important stuff, because this is not for the weak. Standby travel is really stressful at times, and then sometimes it's a breeze, and for us, for like a whole year, it was pretty much a breeze up until this point, and unfortunately it turned into a really long day of minimal sleep. And let's hope no more diversions and that he'll make it home safely. And that's honestly all I can ask for. I think in the end, I was talking with him, and we were both saying, like, at least like that he's safe. Yeah, that's the story, y'all. This turned into a fun birthday travel diary vlog, to the reality of standby travel, like the stresses that come with it, the lessons, and basically how you just have to have a plan. And that could be plan A, of course, but you need to have plan B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, L, M, N, O, P, Q, R, S, T, U, V, W, X, Y, and Z. You need to have multiple backup plans when traveling non-rev standby travel. I've chatted for a long time. I am tired. I haven't had much sleep. I had like my 1.5-ish nap initially before the red-eye flight. I landed at 5:30 this morning. I think I took an hour nap. Same thing with my boyfriend. He took an hour nap in the airport around the same time I did. And then I've kind of been up ever since and just been cleaning and trying to like take care of some stuff before he gets here. I feel incredibly bad because it's like the first time, and of course it had to happen like on his birthday. Like, it was just very unfortunate. There's just so much, we can control, and I think that's the whole point of my spiel right now, is that a lot of things will be out of your control with these standby benefits, but just do your best to handle the situation. And really quick, this is a really funny story. I went to Dutch Bros. I went to run an errand real quick, and the girl that's taking my order, she was like, oh, I was like, what are you doing? home yesterday, and I was like, it's just a long story. And then she just goes, well, if you tell me, I'll give you your drink for free. I gave her a really quick, fast version of my story, and boom, I landed a free drink, and here I am.
God. Thank God. Finally.